Next, Rawat Asfahani enters a really, really interesting and important section. He talks about the essential characteristics for students. And the first is, just like we said about prioritizing different types of knowledge, etiquette comes first, manners comes first, right? And so the first essential characteristic for anybody who wants to learn anything is purifying the self of poor etiquette. And that can look like a lot of different things. It can look like haste. Okay, people want to become a scholar overnight, or they want to do it in a year. This type of person needs to understand that you can't be hasty when it comes to seeking knowledge, whether it's the Quran or whether it's anything. It is a lake that is formed drop by drop. It's a mountain that is formed pebble by pebble. And so that's actually really the whole point, because it takes discipline, and you're accustomizing the self to being disciplined and doing something. So eliminating the sense of haste. Jealousy is another important thing. We discussed it before. Very, very essential to rid the self of jealousy. You need to be the biggest cheerleader of your colleagues, of your fellow students. You need to define and experience your success in their success. If you do, Allah will put blessing in what you do. If you don't, then who knows? I mean, the stuff that you might be learning might actually be against you on the day of judgment. You can't prevent other people or obstruct them or belittle them or anything like this. No, you're supposed to engender an environment of mutual aid and mutual support and mutual encouragement, and you should not be discouraging to other people. So one time in Medina, we would sit between Maghrib and Isha for Sheikh Abdullah Shinqiti's tafsir lessons. And there was a certain sheikh who had a lesson after that, and his students would start to gather around. Okay, no problem. They wouldn't necessarily pay a lot of attention to Sheikh Abdullah's lesson, which is fine. Okay, no problem. But they were so eager, let's say, to put it in a nice way, to get a spot in the front row for the following lesson, that they would do things that were very rude, right? And one particular time, because I would always be, alhamdulillah, up front for Sheikh Abdullah's lessons. And then as soon as the adhan went off and we're getting prepared to pray, and literally I'm standing up and they're rushing to reserve their spot with their bag or whatever. Seriously, they actually knocked me over. I fell backward onto the floor in the Prophet's masjid. Okay, where's the hilm wal ana that the Prophet ﷺ said? Okay, if there was blessing in this type of thing, the Prophet ﷺ would have praised it, and yet we find that he praised the opposite. He praised to the companion that when it came to meeting him, alayhi salatu wasalam, that he went home first and he cleaned himself up first and he took his time, and then he said that these are two qualities that Allah loves: hilm, forbearance, and ana, taking your time, not being hasty, right, not rushing, and these sorts of things. And that was for meeting the Prophet ﷺ. What about trying to sit in a sheikh's lesson, right? Regardless of the other sorts of things that went on, and there were lots of other things that went on. So purifying yourself and purifying your etiquette is an extremely, extremely important thing. That the student should not fall prey to the waswas or the devilish satanic suggestion that they need to be so aggressive, right, with everything that they're pursuing, or else it's going to fall away from them and they're not going to benefit. No, we believe in barakah. We believe in Allah's blessing. And so if you do the little things right, and the little things, in fact, are actually quite big things. If you take care of your etiquette, if you're humble, if you are forbearing, if you have your attitude of collaboration and encouragement with your fellow students, then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is going to put much more blessing in your studies than if you come at it with haste or with jealousy or aggression.